everybody, welcome back inside the stash. So in this video we'll be taking a look at the contest tables at the 31st annual Tidewater Automotive Modeling Society show held in Norfolk, Virginia at the end of October. And we're going to do a little recap of the show up front. It's a little, what we thought kind of thing. So, what did we think? We've been to the show a few times over the last 7-8 years. I went a couple of times prior to COVID, and then a couple of times since then. It's a decent show for its size. It is a smaller show. Don't know why, necessarily. I don't see anything about it necessarily that makes it like a bad show. It's decently attended. As we go through, like I said, the contest tables, you'll see there's about 178. Not about, I counted. There's 178 models on the table, including one of mine. And, a decent turnout. Some categories were kind of light, but you're going to get that in any kind of show. And some good quality work on the tables, no doubt whatsoever. In the video, if I could figure out how the fancy editing software works, because this editing software does so much more than it used to at this point, I'd like to be able to freeze frame it on what won best of show and what won people's choice and best theme, because I do know what those models are from the video. Being that I entered, I stayed for the whole award ceremony, so I saw the whole thing. But yeah, it's always a good time, at least as far as I'm concerned. It's a decent sized venue. You don't feel crowded in or anything else like that. The vendor area, as you saw in the last video, is kind of small. This year was very Ollie's heavy in terms of what kits were for sale. Some people in the comments noticed that, and I certainly did as well. It's kind of amusing considering the fact that Ollie's is in that area. It's not like it's like people coming from Pennsylvania with their Ollie's hauls to sell them there. And the markups were a little bit excessive, in my opinion, considering that Ollie's is available in the area, right? It's not like, if you guys watched Lazy Eyed Modeler, he talked about picking up a kit at Acme last weekend that was a kit that was sold at Ollie's, but he was happy to pay a slightly more than Ollie's price for it because, of course, they don't have Ollie's in Canada, and it's significantly less than he would have paid otherwise. So I think you have to, if you're going to be somebody who's going to go clean out the Ollie's and then try to resell it, you got to be cognizant of where you're selling it in terms of like, hey, anybody could have went and bought these kits for the same amount I did, trying to sell them for 125, 150% more than I paid for them, probably isn't going to really fly all that well. And in that way, that vendor area this year was a little disappointing. A lot of old NASCAR and a lot of Ollie's kits that I passed on and I could have picked up for the Ollie's price. That being said, it's a good show. I enjoy it. If I had two comments, criticisms, constructive criticisms about the show, it would be that the venue, and there's nothing they can do about it, it's the venue, right? The venue is very dimly lit, and this seems to be a problem with all VFW Legion halls, and I think it might be something to do with the calming ambiance, club, bar nature of a VFW. I've never been in a VFW that has good lighting. I'm sure that for veterans, they don't want to be sitting around someplace trying to relax in operating room lighting scenarios. So I totally understand that. But from a model show, it's pretty effing dim in that room. It's probably the only model show I go to that flashlights are used during judging. Now, part of that is because the Automotive Modeler Society was a thing back in the 1980s. It was an automotive version of the IPMS that did not last very long. The TAMS is the only surviving club of that format, and so they tend to judge I don't want to say stricter or more in-depth, although more in-depth certainly was a thing this year. There's certain categories I spent probably 45 minutes judging, which tends to drag the day out a little bit, but it is what it is. But that venue's dim, and you need a flashlight to see what's going on. But that's the venue. It's been at that VFW Legion Hall for a decade or more that I've been aware of it, probably longer than that. And I know at one point they were dealing with declining attendance, and they were going to not hold the show, and then they decided to hold it one more time, and then it's sort of come back since then. So it is what it is. Hold your nose and deal with it. I mean, it's a nice venue. They got good food and all that sort of thing. It's just a little dim in there. The other thing is the raffle. I always try to throw $5 into the raffle, right? The entry for this show was $15. It was unlimited entries. I only have the one model that's still competitive in the sense that it hadn't been to the show yet. All my other builds have been to the show and have won things at this show, so it's been a pretty successful show for me personally, which is probably part of why I go back, right? But the raffle this year had a situation where a number of kits were already started and a number of kits were not complete. And if anyone from that club happens to see this, guys, you got to work on that. Whether it's the people who are the modelers who are in the club who are donating things to that raffle, or whoever the raffle coordinator is who needs to go through that stuff one last time before the show, you can't be giving out half-built models at a raffle. That's a really bad look. And this is coming from somebody who belongs to a club that runs a raffle and who has been, in part of the contest management team, if you will, of a club here in Pittsburgh for the past 5-6 years prior to our club folding and my joining the local IPMS chapter. It needs to be unstarted, preferably sealed, but sealed, the thing isn't the be all end all, right? If you guys have noticed, all of my Japanese kits that I get, because I buy them from Japan, are not shrink wrapped. So if I would put a brand new Japanese kit into a raffle, it's not going to be sealed because it didn't come that way. But unstarted things, or it needs to be unstarted and complete. It can't be parts. So I did, in fact, actually win something in the raffle. I won this Ricky Rudd Quaker Steak Buick NASCAR kit. I actually picked this. It was a pick your own kit thing. So I'm not saying, oh, they stuck me with this. I chose this. Now, it is a box of parts in the sense that only the chrome and the engine components are still on the parts tree in here. Everything else is rolling around loose outside of bags. Dude, throw it in some Ziploc. But be that as it may, that message to whoever donated this. But I wanted this because I've been after Salvino's to find the molds to these intermediate GM cars from the late 80s and the early 90s. There's a 90s version of this Regal, and there was an 80s version of the Oldsmobile, I think it's a Delta 98, and then the Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme. I really like the Buick and the Oldsmobile NASCAR kits. They're a little less all over the place compared to the Thunderbirds and the Monte Carlos and the early 90s Luminous. This was kitted in 1989. It's one of the kits I built as a child. Power Slide still makes decals for this kit. I already looked and they're in stock. So it's another $12 on top of the $1 this model ultimately cost me, or $5, I guess. I got 6 raffle tickets on one thing. So technically, I guess it's a $6 model kit, not a $1 model kit, but you know what I mean. But I mean, I think it's all there. The decals are shot, but they would be anyway because they sucked in 1989 and now they're that much older. So replacement decals, whatever. That's a sunk cost into buying one of these old monogram kits. You're going to need new decals for it. But, I'm happy with it. I picked it. It's just that, it could have, it is what it is. One thing you do get entering the model contest, I've got a couple of these now, because I've gone down there a few years without anything to enter just to go to the show and support the club, is you get these little dash plaques. Now, this is still in a little plastic wrapper, so it may not show up very well. I'm trying to, blend it between reflectivity and... and you just guys seeing the lens to the webcam into it. But, yeah, maybe if I get backlighting, there we go. So you get, focus. So TAMS 31st Annual Model Car Truck Swap Meet theme this year was station wagons. If I can figure out the editing suite, I'll show you the best wagon, because it also won People's Choice and Best Paint. And held in Norfolk, Virginia on October 21st. Now these... At least the ones I have had have been self-adhesive. That had a sticky thing on the back. This doesn't look like it does, but I'm not sure. But anyway, it's cool. I mean, hey, it's worth the $15 just to get the cool little dash black, right? We entered our BMW 320i European Touring Car Championship car. I have not actually done a completed build video on that on this channel, I've realized. So you guys, half the people here who are not good friends with me and go to local shows with me don't have any idea what the hell I'm talking about. So maybe I'll do a video of that. But that, this year for me, picked up a second place. I like these little sort of Olympic ribbons that they give you here. Second place. And this is going to be competition closed wheel 1981 and up. So, medal winning modeler. Oh, these are unique to the little piece of plexiglass. And I have a couple of these now. I have a couple of second places from the show. I will get first at some point in time in the future. But anyway, so that's the what we picked up, what we won. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it for a wrap up of the show. Next year's theme, if I remember in here, remember to throw the flyer up. Ching, is going to be a pony car theme. So it's Camaros, Firebirds, Cudas, Challengers, Pony Car Wars is what the theme is. I think we're sort of piggybacking a little bit off the 60th anniversary of the Mustang, but not doing just the Mustangs. And so there's no date on that flyer, but I assume it will all be the same time frame, which will be the third Saturday of October. That's when the show's been for the last, how many every years? 10 years at least. So, if you're in the area, Eastern North Carolina, Eastern Virginia, or any part of Virginia, really, because even if you were coming all the way from over like Wise, Virginia, in the bottom southwest corner, I think that's a 5-hour drive at that point. I come 8 hours to go to the show, but it's a little last-minute vacation for us every year to do this little trip down to Virginia Beach. And, yeah, I mean, it's worth attending. If you're in the area, you may not realize it exists. It's a small show. It's not very well advertised. But I think there are some pretty good quality builds on the table, which you will be seeing in a second. So anyway, guys, welcome to all the new subscribers. Next video out after this one will be our November kit release video, which will be the monthly thing we do where we talk about new kit releases expected for that month. And that's always a popular one. People know how to spend their money, and especially with Christmas coming, and now you know what to buy yourself for like Christmas presents, or ask your family to buy you for Christmas presents. But again, that's another video. That'll be the next one comes up. This one is going to delve into my phone video here of the contest tables. I did crank the resolution up on this. I was having my phone camera was not enjoying the lighting. It was not focusing, and then putting it on the next up 4K video resolution made it focus. So this should be a much clearer video than anything else you've seen on this channel, assuming that YouTube can handle encoding it that way. So enough of that. Let's see what it looks like. Here you go, guys. Check out these great builds at the 31st Annual Tidewater Automotive Modeler Society, and we'll see you guys on the other side.
New number, 8246. 8246.
They do every custom color combination, really good custom make it, put it in there. House of Color candies, they've got their own line of.
I like the House of Color. In fact, I'd like to paint my Harley. I want to do a lace paint job on my Harley. Well, you kind of partially inspired me, although I did shoot lace back in the 70s.
Are you into skulls by chance?
I like them too.
Hold on, wait a minute.
I'm coming over.
Folks, so one of the major awards today is the People's Choice. So if you were entered in the contest, you will receive a little slip of paper, and that slip of paper. So during the course of the afternoon, please make sure that you've looked over the model and cast your vote for the People's Choice. Also, as I mentioned earlier, we're going to have a brief judges meeting over by the bar area at noon. So I'm looking at my phone, and that's about 8 minutes off. So if you have not judged before on one of our shows, I'd appreciate it if you could come over there. I'll hand out the paperwork for the judge team assignments and for the classes that each team is going to judge. Also go over briefly the rules. So if you can, stop over by the bar area if you're a judge, and we'll have a brief judges meeting at high noon. Thank you.
New number 8109. 8109.
Okay, sure.
That's why the auction.
It's A. Entry A. Okay. I'm registered number 32, and that was truck was entry A. Yeah, this is B.
She would, because she wants to throw it all away. I will let her.
Next number 8073. 8073.
anything quite that painful. It was all swollen up
Your number, 8045. 8045. New number, 8029. 8029. Okay, the judges' meeting is underway in the back, so if you need to attend, please do so.
Pay it back. You can't have competition. You don't have
Just put them in a, you know, mobile or something. Do that. That's
Had to have it, fine. He was just like, I just can't understand. You would think when you're around, you would know. Then you did. Take care, son. This is back. This is little place. Industrial. Oh, what he did. This one here, you've already talked to Joe. You got the black Chevy over there, the trailer.